Yeah, yeah, it's probably been 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah,
Even still.
yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot of really good practice for us in working with our fire station and that response. The first one with the gear up, we were able to go in and kind of debrief it and talk through some changes that we need to make, and then a couple weeks later we get another one where we haven't made the changes yet, but we know they need to be made. It was a good experience for the guys to go and experience that.
Okay. How about airport manager's report?
Yeah, so as was sent over in the packet, kind of a couple of highlights here that we really need to touch on. The main one being the airport master plan is in the final stages. It's crossing the finish line. Right now, the airport layout plan is with the FAA being reviewed. It had some errors that they needed to fix, so it got kicked back to the consultant to correct those before it actually goes through the formal review process. Once it's in that formal review process, it takes another 60 days to kind of trickle through the FAA. But we are working on spooling up the public comment, or what do you call it?
Public engagement.
Engagement, yes. And the adoption process. So our September AAC meeting will be focused on master plan and getting that, or getting our recommendation to the city council to adopt the new master plan. So they'll be reviewing it. We'll get it to you beforehand, so you have the finalized copy. And then if there are changes that can come out of the meeting, then we can make adjustments as needed. That would be the idea, is to review the document beforehand and then talk about it in the meeting.
We'll also be taking the master plan out to the planning commission and to 3 neighborhood associations, the 3 that border the airport: Seneca, Cessna, and Morningside.
Yeah.
And then any other border commission that wants us to come and present, but we'll want your recommendation, you'll want other recommendations, and we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to voice their support or concerns or whatever they.
I was really impressed with the turnout at the event here. That was surprised.
It was really well attended.
Yeah.
That was surprising for us as well, and the consultants. Yeah, we had a lot of really good comments too. I haven't actually seen the
They
compiled.
ran out of cookies, that was one thing.
Hey, that was me.
Yeah, but a lot of really good questions, a lot of really good input. So yeah, we had a lot of community members that showed up, which was nice. Okay, and then the next one, the terminal area master plan, or terminal area plan and design, not to be confused with the master plan. Terminal area plan will be kicking off here in a couple of weeks. This is the plan that is funded by, or had money, I guess, allocated to it from Congresswoman Salinas' office. So it has that kind of federal earmark on it. The idea behind this plan is to develop a short-term or short-range, mid-term, and then long-range plan for the airport terminal. So what does the terminal look like in the near future, and then kind of build that out. The near future will get construction documents, so we'll be able to actually build what we decide on the near-term plan. In addition to the Salinas money, we also have Oregon lottery bonds that were allocated to this. So, and then an additional FAA grant as well for our 27 fiscal year, or for the federal year 27. So we have a good allocation of money to kind of work with on that. So yeah.
Is the funding for the plan, or is it funding for the plan plus construction?
The funding right now is just a plan.
Okay.
Next year, or I guess the federal fiscal year starts in October. That's when we'll get the FAA dollars, and then in March of 27 is when we get the Oregon lottery funds, or the lottery.
And that's for more of the construction side of it, rather than the plan side.
Yeah, the plan is funded through the earmark.
Okay.
Yep. Excellent. Yep, that's a good question. But with that, we also need to form we as in the airport needs to form a terminal Action Committee, TAC. So that will be comprised of, we're thinking 10 to 20 people, but we'd like the input of this group on the composition of that and any recommendations you have for it. The thought was if it goes through a staff formed committee, then we have a little bit more flexibility on how we do the meetings and the presentation of things, and we can do it a lot quicker than if we were to form it through the commission, which would go through a city council process. I understand that correctly.
Yes.
So kind of a short-term commission sorts to review the terminal area plan. So in the coming days, I'll reach out and just kind of give you an overview of what that looks like, or what we think it'll look like, kind of the time commitment that we need, the charter, so to speak, of that commission. And then if you have any recommendations that serve on it, or if you'd like to yourself, let us know.
I don't think I refer to it as a commission. There's only one commission at the airport, that's this. It would be like an advisory committee.
Committee, yes, a committee, sorry. That is more accurate terminology, thank you. I get them switched in my time.
That's okay.
Okay, so yeah, watch for that coming up, and then just a quick note on commercial air service. The SCASD grant process, the Small Community Air Service Development Program, through the Department of Transportation. That application period has closed, and the applications have been made available to the public. So we were able to see what other airports have applied, what people are asking for. Our consultant feels like we have a really good case put together. I included our application in the packet, so you had a chance to kind of look through and see what we submitted. Within the last couple of weeks, we received a letter from our federal delegation as well, or the DOT, I should say, went directly to the DOT for the recommendation of support for this program. So we're really interested in seeing how that pans out. Probably look at August, September for the work that we're anticipating. Then in a, I guess, kind of a similar vein, but Fly Salem is also applying for another grant through Travel Oregon. They were one of 9 that were selected to move forward to the formal application process, and that application process is closed now, and now they're working on, they have to do a video presentation and put together some other things for that application. So we'll see how that ends up too. That was $1.5 million for that request. Other than that, staffing report, we just hired a new maintenance operator. He started on Monday. So he was an internal hire from
Stormwater quality.
Stormwater Quality. Thank you. Really great guy.
I'm sorry, no. What, environmental services.
Environmental services. So we're excited to have him on. Really great guy. You might say my own.
May I ask a question?
Mhm.
What's his job?
His job, so airport operations and maintenance. It's kind of a combined role here. The duties are really to maintain all the facets of the airfield, so mowing, fixing lights, as well as the operations side of inspections and what's called 139 compliance. So the federal regulations, complying with federal regulations, and making sure that that the airfield is operating the way it needs to. So it's a lot of reports, a lot of inspection logs and checklists. That's it. Yeah, they have a pretty big, they're kind of the I guess the heartbeat of the organization. They're out there doing all the work. So.
Yeah, we have a person leave, so we replaced him.
Okay, that's all I have from the airport side, unless there's anything specific that you'd like me to go over from the report.
Okay, couple questions. It looks like, I don't know if it was just the data cut off or the airport revenue. For the landing, parentheses dropped, the collection percentage dropped significantly in May.
So the way that that works is, the bills will go out, so immediately as the bills are sent or the invoices are sent, your collection rate is 0, right? So the May invoices went out, at the beginning of June, so we're just barely hitting.
So
that
we just haven't seen the
month.
data yet.
We just haven't seen the data
Okay.
yet, yep, exactly. And that's why I blanked out the June, those invoices have been sent because it's the beginning of July, but there was no data on it. Other than zeros.
And then I see you have an update in here, just wondering if that's the latest on the search. The search for the airport manager.
Yeah, but
The process, I'm the hiring manager for that, so.
Okay,
We are still in the process.
Okay.
And I really honestly can't say anything about it.
Okay,
We're just
I
right in the
understand.
process, so.
I know at one point there was talk of either wanting or needing somebody on this commission to be part of the hiring, but it sounds like you already passed that point. You're moving.
We had the interviews that we invited somebody to participate in, we've held those interviews.
Okay, gotcha.
And so no, we're getting towards the tail end of the process.
Okay.
But the city's HR process requires some patience, but it works, it works.
Understood.
We've been busy.
They've been very busy, yeah, it's been a very busy hiring season for the city.
Okay, anything else on your report? Any other questions? Okay. I don't have a report for this month, so I'll open it for any general comments or questions, topics.
I had a in discussion.
Yes.
Okay, there have been, let me back up. A number of years ago, Doug Brenizer, who's a former commissioner, used to also sit in on a Salem Airport Users Group, SALG group that meets every Tuesday,
second Tuesday.
second Tuesday of every month, and kind of kept a connection going between the two groups. I had tried to pick that up as Doug left, but my schedule has just been that I cannot be consistently at that meeting. Again, preventing some of the ethics guidelines, I don't think we should all be there, but if there's a commissioner or two that wants to sit in on that, I think James, you usually attend.
I try to go most days, but a lot of times it's been where I teach in that spot, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's someone else that has some availability in their schedule to just sit in on that meeting. It's a great meeting. It's a meeting of people who are tenants on the field, and a little bit more of a generic public comment. You can add to this. Just discussion of, and Aaron, a lot of times you're there, discussing airport things. But it's a great time to hear what some of the users, like the leasers and some of the other tenants, the concerns they have or what's going on. If anybody else wants to help support that meeting, I would encourage someone else to step up, but
It can be pretty
my
exciting.
schedule's been a little bit rough.
I've been there most of the time. In the winter time, I can't go there in the summer because I have grandkids swimming lessons
Mm.
on Tuesday. So
Right.
doesn't work out, but
What time is it?
It is 10 a.m.
anyhow,
on,
for an hour. Or
and it meets at the
like,
flight deck.
Yeah. And it's how often, once a month?
Once a month.
Once a month.
yeah.
I just want to put that out there if anybody else wants to try to work that on.
Yeah, I try to make it as often as I can.
It sounds like going forward, we may not have consistent representation, but maybe we'll get some ad hoc. I'll have to look at my schedule. I might be, maybe in the fall, I can adjust. That's a tough slot.
It is.
I'm sure you're experiencing the same thing.
Oh, for working people, yeah.
They do put minutes out too, so they take
Yeah.
minutes for that, so we can maybe
Still keep it
that or
posted.
get on the email list for that too, so.
Is there an opportunity to maybe attend remotely? Maybe?
Not at this point. It's all
No.
available.
Yeah, it's that high tech, isn't it?
Or an old pilots drinking coffee kind of thing.
Gotcha,
Yeah, it is.
that would be fun.
Okay, duly noted that
That's.
you're no longer our full-time rep there. You're released from your commitments. Any other,
Talking about moves, I'll be moving out of my position next June. I got selected to represent Oregon to go to the senior staff college. And so I have to go to the East Coast for a year and go to college again. So it's gonna be pretty fun. So my replacement, we believe at this time, his name is Major Dan Russell. He was my ops officer over here for many years, but he got promoted out to Pendleton to be the ASF commander out there, but he's supposed to move back. So probably about April, May of next year. So I'll probably bring him to my last one and then the handoff and be him. And he can have it for the next 7 years.
So is that like Carlisle Barracks?
That was my last choice. I picked Naval War College because it's in Newport, Rhode Island, and I have a sailboat, so I'm like, oh, this would be nice. So that was my first pick. I'll find out next month. My second pick and third pick were both in the DC area, just because there's direct flights to Portland, so it's easier to get home. And then it was Army, which is at Carlisle Barracks, the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. And my last pick was Montgomery, Alabama. Oh, really? It's a beautiful area. No, sorry. I spent 6 weeks there at Eats once. So I've done the Gettysburg, I've done the Hershey factory and all that stuff. So I didn't.
it's okay, people are just trying to say them that way when I tell them.
No, we used to call it Nowhere, Pennsylvania, so it's okay, he's right on.
Beautiful area. Gettysburg is really cool. If you've never been there, that's definitely worth it.
So I have a question, getting your sailboat there, you're going to be pulling it or?
Yeah.
Or sailing?
It's a 20-footer. It's a small one. I keep it down at Fern Ridge, which I actually have to pull it out this weekend because their water level is so low. It's terrible.
Well, hopefully we see a few more times, sounds like, before you go.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Appreciate all the time you've done on this, and I'm sure we'll have a send off when the time comes.
Enough cookies.
Yeah, more cookie. Okay, anything else?
One thing,
Yes.
my husband and I own a restaurant in town and a lottery bar, so you're welcome.
Doing your part. Yeah, you're doing your part.
That's a nice program. I think it's cool that it works.
Doing some good.
You could talk about the resiliency study.
Yeah. Resiliency study, just a quick note on that. So this project is actually just about to wrap up. We should be seeing a report mid-August, a draft report. So we'll have the finalized report just in time for AC in September. But what the plan is, or what the project is looking at the airport as if it were to have a Cascadia size event and seeing what infrastructure would likely be remaining or what it would take to get it back running again, or how long it would take us to get back with the operational stance. So they've I'm going to drop link on eight or 9 core samples around the airport that they've drilled down, including 100-foot hole that they've pulled. And so far, the geotechnical data they're telling us looks pretty promising that we might have some good soil under us or good rock that they think it might not be as impactful as other airports. So
I tell everybody that if you're paying me.
That's a good point. So anyway, we'll see kind of how that report comes out. But the idea is that we also will compile a list of aircraft that we would likely see in an event or in the recovery phase of an event, and evaluating our pavement to see if it would be able to withstand C-17, for example. How many operations of the C-17 can we take before we need to start fixing pavement? So anyway.
Do you see that having any feeding into, the terminal area plan? Like, or would those kind of operations be more field
No, so it is, so it does evaluate the terminal at a high level. We know the terminal is old, it's from the fifties, so seismically it isn't good, but it's small and it doesn't have a lot of mass to shake around, so. They'll do an evaluation of the building itself, and that will help inform the terminal plan, but not necessarily be a companion to it, if that makes sense. We'll be able to draw from that information as we do the terminal.
Is that feeding into FEMA? Cause I know FEMA had done a resiliency kind of thing well for, yeah.
No, this is all state of Oregon initiative. Several years ago, before my time, one of the legislators here had a really strong push for resiliency.
Politics.
Politics, yes, thank you. And so that's kind of where this concept was driven from. We're maybe on the tail end of what the program was supposed to be as far as understanding what airports have. But us, Portland and Eugene, I think are the core airports that are being evaluated, and Portland's looking at doing a seismic retrofit of their runway hardening.
So it sounds expensive.
They're really expensive.
Portland is doing, is that what you said?
Yeah, because of
We have $2 billion in bonds already that they're trying to pay off, so. Yeah, for the reason.
so anyway, it was from a report similar to ours that Portland came up with that.
There's no getting around the fact they're sitting on rivers, so. they're close to the river.
Yeah, so it really might be the case that Salem is the only bigger airport available. We lose Portland, and the consultants were telling us Eugene has a lot of clay under it. And then they have, I guess, bands of kind of rock that they hit every once in a while, but mostly clay. So
What about the Mingo?
it's just not very long, the runway.
Yeah, it's short.
It's short. So within the valley, I guess I should say.
Well, I hear their airport manager's kind
Was there ever, the core sampling reminded me that they were drilling for the Forever Chemicals a while back. Did that ever?
Yeah, they're still doing sampling and kind of getting an idea of what's going on. So that's ongoing. I don't know how long. I don't know if we have an estimate on when things will
Yeah,
start
they,
trickling out.
they're getting a better idea of how much is out there and where, but remember, you're talking parts per trillion, so it's a whole different level of detecting stuff. But yeah, like Aaron said, it's still very much underway, and I believe the Army National Guard is doing a companion project at the same time.
Yeah, they're over there right now. I think they're doing about 20 wells throughout our facility, and they did a couple just outside of our gate. They're going 300 feet down.
Go
So,
down.
yeah, they've the latest, what I was told is, interestingly, because our base has been there since the 40s, and so who knows what's under that. I mean, honestly, and but what's interesting is it seems like there is something, a mass that's coming from like the Garmin direction. I'm not saying it's Garmin, but like that way is what they're telling us, that something has been dropped over there that's moving towards us. So what that is, we don't know.
The firefighting foam contained those PFAS chemicals for decades.
Yeah, maybe there was fires back there and they were just, or they were practicing with it or something. I mean,
There's been training areas.
yeah,
We had one aircraft that required foam, and you can still detect that foam years later in the soil, so.
Yeah, there was a training area on the south end of the airport where those hangars were being built. That's what triggered this, because they found a hot sample in the phase 1 environmental. But we don't have anything official on that training site, so we're trying to cobble together old pictures and see, like, yeah, it looks like that might be something there, but we just don't have anything to
So how do
indicate.
they mitigate something like that? Do they?
Well,
Dig it out?
it depends on how much they detect and whether they think it's moving or it's bound to the soil, or there's a whole science to it. I'm not really qualified to talk about it, but it's just if it's a certain degree of contamination, then you literally remove the soil and you take it to a sanitary landfill. Or you could pave over it so that the groundwater doesn't seep down and move it, or there's different things you can do.
If you wanna make a lot of money, come up with a way to get rid of forever chemicals.
But the only way is to incinerate it at a very high temperature. Or use a bubbling method that effervesces it up out of the. So.
Anything else? Okay, going once, going twice. And I will go ahead and adjourn. Thank you.
All right, 6:35 PM. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.